Welcome back to Stooge Stream, and it's the second episode of Watch This. I am your host, The Stooge. I'm joined by my panel of reviewers. We're looking at 2010's Faster, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Billy Bob Thornton. But before we get to that, allow me to introduce the panel. Starting on my left, we have the one and only Doctor.
Howdy hi.
Next to him, as always, it seems like he just never leaves. It's G Banks.
Hey, what's happening?
Opposite me is the one and only Knockout Fiona.
Go home already, G-Banks. Jeez.
No, I'm living here from now on. Sorry.
So I put you all through watching this film. We're going to have a bit of a talk about it, but let's do a quick breakdown of what the movie's about first. So this is a heist/revenge movie. It's about a heist that went wrong. The bank robbers get done by another group of people. The Rock's quote-unquote brother, who looks nothing like him and is completely white.
I think even one of the gang members even mentioned that. It's like, don't do this to my brothers. Like, brothers? What the hell? You don't even look alike. And they all start pissing themselves laughing. Yeah, like...
His brothers are ginger. And the Rock's Samoan. Let's just leave it at that.
But they're brothers.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
They're brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers.
But they're not. They're actually brothers.
Yeah, I don't know how that's happening, but they're brothers.
And at one point you meet the Rock's mum and she's white. Yeah. And you're like, what? Yeah. He did not come out of you.
And when she talks about the family, she just mumbles the only phrase she actually talks about family. I had to watch it like 3 or 4 times, and she goes, "Well, about you were with your brother," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, and the only one throwaway reference to the fact that The Rock looks different is when she's like, "Your dad loved your brother more than you. I couldn't pretend you were his."
That's the line. She didn't pronounce it correctly. Yeah. I don't know what she said.
It's almost like they tried to fub it on purpose so you didn't hear it. But when you listen to it, you're like, oh, so she's just acknowledged that it's, that's some Samoan dude's kid. Because it's not white guys.
Probably that Samoan that you see at the start.
Yeah, could be. So the movie opens with The Rock in jail. He's getting out. It's his last day, and he's got a revenge plan to take out everybody that took out his brother and his group and stole their money. He's not trying to hide. He's not trying to cover his face. He literally walks in on the first dude and shoots him in the face and then looks at the camera and smiles.
Great start to a movie. Like him walking out of the jail like a big hard cunt, like, yeah, I own this. And literally the first place he goes to is that dude's office and boom, puts a bullet right between his eyes.
I had a question though. Was the impound yard right next to the prison?
Yeah, I think so.
No, it wasn't. He had to have walked, 10, 20 kilometres to get there.
No, he did the Terminator run down the street.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, that was actually pretty funny. Rock one's pretty funny. You think John Cena one's weird? No, Rock one's weird.
He does run a bit weird.
Yeah. There's so many things that are stupid about it. But when you start a movie, you want to sort of start strong. You want to have like a great establishing shot. You want to have it sort of like really grab you by the throat. But this is typical of this movie. It's got sloppy, silly, boring, predictable direction.
Oh, you're harsh. We haven't even gotten to the plot yet.
Dude. We started talking about the mechanics of the movie. I had to come out with it.
Fair enough. Look, I like the opening shot of him pacing in the prison cell and you're just seeing bits and pieces of the scars and stuff. And then as they drag him past, you see all the damaged inmates, and then you find out it was him that did all that. That was actually pretty cool. I liked that start. I think it's slower than a lot of other action movies, especially these days. A lot of action movies start in the middle of action, whereas this started in the middle of a storyline that we didn't quite know what was happening yet.
Do you remember that slightly better movie, The Blues Brothers?
Yeah. But
The start of it, they start out with that crazy sort of fantastic opening sequence with, they come out of the prison, in his suit, and he's greeted by Elwood. Yeah, it's a great coming out of prison sequence.
Well, I like the fact that this turns it on its head, and the fact that I think this is the first time I've seen a movie that opens in prison with a dude coming out and no one's waiting for him. No one's there. No one gives two shits about this dude. But anyway, just to quickly cover the story. So he goes on this revenge spree. He becomes a mass murderer in a very short period of time and a serial killer, and finds out that in reality, it's the cop that's investigating the case that was actually the guy leading the team that took his team out so on and so on.
Spoiler alert, Ricky.
Yeah, it is.
This is a 6-year-old movie.
Warn the people.
Oh, Rick, is this that amazing reveal in the last 10 minutes? You were saying, "Oh, you better wait for that."
I was just trying to get you to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It worked, you bastard.
Yeah.
It worked.
so he's played by Billy Bob Thornton, who I thought actually did a really good turn in this. You also had Carla Gugino, but my favorite appearance... Gigliano, there you go, corrected by the Knockout. My favorite appearance, though, was Tom Berenger as the prison warden for like a minute at the beginning. Like, that was a dude that was an 80s action star. And I think they just threw him in there to be like, hey, remember him? He existed.
Well, you know what else they threw in there that I actually knew? I don't know, you might know him. Did you ever watch the sequel to Friday, the movie?
Mike Epps, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Epps, Day-Day. Yeah, I love that guy. Because I forgot about him being in the movie. So when I see him, I was like, hey, what's Day-Day doing in there? Get your ass out of here, Day-Day.
Yeah, Mike Epps is in it for a couple of minutes.
I actually have a conspiracy theory that I think that Day-Day and Faster and Next Friday are linked.
He's playing the same dude.
Yeah,
he's playing the same dude.
Literally the same dude. I was like, no, this is Day-Day, but in Faster. Cool.
Yeah. Where he refunds his money and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, like, hey, take it, man. Hey, on me. Yeah, and I was like, Day-Day.
So there is actually something that really just kind of bothered me about the movie. It's
really bad.
No. Well, yes, obviously, but where does Faster come from?
From the killer. Now, that's something that we didn't cover yet because I got cut off by Day-Day.
What do you got against Day-Day, man?
So the guy that's behind it all, who ends up being the cop, who's Billy Bob Thornton, had hired a killer to follow the Rock and kill him before he took everyone out. And this guy has his own... everyone in this movie has issues. So Billy Bob is a recovering drug addict who still takes drugs.
With a junkie wife.
Yeah.
That has a fat son.
Yeah.
That can't play baseball.
Yeah, that's pretty much his character arc.
Yeah.
Carla is the beaten down woman cop who now has balls of steel because she's sick of all the men around her kind of taking advantage of her. The Rock's problem is that all his friends and his brother were killed. And the killer, the hired assassin, yeah.
He was cool.
Yeah, he was like the best dude.
At the end of it, I was like, I'm really attracted to this guy for no reason at all.
Yeah, I love when they ask for a description after one of the crime scenes. Like, what was the description of the second guy? Someone said beautiful, like a movie star.
I would have said the exact same thing. No word of a lie. I would be like, he was beautiful. Excuse me? You heard me. Do you have his number?
He sounded like he had he's trying to put on an English accent through a mouthful of marbles.
Yeah,
admittedly, I have to admit with that, he did have a pretty bad English accent. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, ooh, but you're good looking, so ooh.
All right, governor. Fresh in your cup, governor.
Can I just ask though, was he meant to be some sort of like, parable / like, what was his plot role? You could have had this movie without that character entirely. He was superfluous.
Hey, that's a really good point.
Like,
He
what
was
there to
entirely.
achieve?
Now, I think what he was there to achieve is to be cool, because no one else in this movie was. No, let's be honest. The Rock is a serial killer. Billy Bob is just a
Isn't that not
scumbag, because he always is a scumbag. Yeah. Everyone hates the cop, so all the cop characters are automatically not cool.
Yeah, cops are never cool in movies.
The recovering drug addict wife. Everyone's a scumbag in this movie, except for the assassin. You're kind of rooting for him. He's all right. Yeah. He's all right.
Oh, look! If the direction and the script were up to scratch, I would care about him.
And the fact that he charges only $1 for his hits, something's wrong with him because he's literally doing it for the thrill.
Yeah, he's doing it for the fun, and that's his problem.
Well, actually, I kind of figured out what his problem was. He just wants to better himself because you can see that he always goes back to that picture where he has those broken legs or whatever, And he's he always looks back to it, and then that's what motivates him.
Yeah. No, his problem is he wants to be the best at everything, and nothing is a challenge anymore.
You see at the start, he's got photos with supposedly important people, and he's like some star genius, wonder boy, whatever, and he's just always trying to amp himself. Even when he's talking to his psychiatrist or whatever, she's like, "Why are you doing this? What's the point?" He's like, "Because I have to.
I'm bored."
Yeah, I'm bored. That's
He's a useless fucking killer. If he goes and stares at his objective for like 5 seconds in order to before he offs him. I mean, seriously, There's so many shots of guys staring at each other. There's some weird homosexual sort of subtext to it that I don't quite get it.
No, but I think that was the whole, like, that was his problem. He couldn't actually bring himself to do it. And even when he got a clean shot at him, he didn't shoot him in the head. He shot him, like, in the side of the throat and missed. Like, he just couldn't bring himself to do it anymore because it wasn't a challenge anymore. Like he discussed earlier when he did that, I just did 10 moves of these yoga moves that only 10 people in the world can do. I've now beat yoga. I'm done with it. His whole thing is, like, it's not challenging. He's trying to find the next thing, and this dude is challenging to him, but at the same time he's so done with this that he just can't bring himself to do it.
He goes, this guy's pure. He goes, you got no skill whatsoever, but he's pure. Like, he goes, no fear, whatever. He goes, I want to challenge him. He goes, he's my match, blah blah blah.
I love the little things that he does in that. When they have that shoot off in the hallway, he doesn't know the dude, so he doesn't automatically shoot at him. So what The Rock's character does is shoots at the wall next to him to blow dust in his face so he can disappear. And then he pulls that move again later when he first gets confronted by the cop because he doesn't know who he is. So he shoots, like, the electric panel next to him and it explodes and shit. Like, it's little things that they did in the movie I thought were quite clever as far as the character story went. Like, just little things.
I think they were trying to make him like a modern day cowboy, if you know what I mean, with the whole ringtone and everything.
Don't get me started.
That's the assassin's ringtone.
Don't get me... Sorry, what?
That's the assassin's ringtone, yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Dude. You do not bring down anything about the good, the bad, the ugly without bringing it.
Yeah, the Dollars trilogy is great.
The whole thing. If you got a ringtone, you want to make it cool. You don't want to have some try-hard fucking bullshit.
No.
For the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Ringtone was actually a double-edged reference, right? So, like, yeah, they're trying to make him out to be like the cool cowboy and all the rest of it, but at the same time, what was the character in the Dollars trilogy? The man with no name. What are we dealing with here? A whole bunch of characters with no names. I think that was like somebody on set just being funny going, this is cool. A little in-joke for himself that a lot of people wouldn't have got. But the lead character literally has no name. Just like Clint Eastwood in the Dollars trilogy. So I think that's the reference that they were making there. He's hunting down the man with no name.
I think you're giving it far too much subtlety. The whole thing has got a flat script, flat direction. It just doesn't work.
Cliched to the max, yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh. You might as well have just said, hello, I am Rockbot 3000. Please give me your direction input.
Look, I like the fact that if you watch a lot of The Rock's movies, he does a lot of talking because he's great at promos. That's what got him over in wrestling, is the fact that he can talk.
As an actor in Hollywood.
Yeah. Is the fact that he can talk. So taking on a role where a lot of the acting had to be done by his face, his looks, and yeah, maybe it didn't work as well as anybody would have hoped it would have, but at the same time, I think it's like quite daring of a dude that literally made his name by talking to shut the fuck up for an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, he didn't say much.
No, the first line in the movie, like Tom Berenger's going off about like you're leaving prison, if anything, because have you got anything to say? Where's the exit? And then he doesn't talk for about another 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know what they're trying to do. It just falls flat repeatedly.
I kind of enjoy this on the, like, if you take your brain out of it. It's a fun little romp of a dude getting revenge. It's just a basic revenge movie. Mm-hmm. But if you put your brain into it, yeah, of course, it's a dumb movie that doesn't work very well at all. The one thing that does work, though, and this is just a testament to his skill, it doesn't matter what he's in. It doesn't matter how much of a piece of shit the movie is. It doesn't matter how bad the acting is around him. Billy Bob will chew the fucking scenery around anyone.
Correct. Billy Bob, in my opinion, is the best thing about this entire movie by quite a large margin.
Oh, yeah. Even from his opening sequence of, like, he's trying to establish he's a scumbag. It takes, like, 3 seconds because you're Billy Bob. You don't have to do anything else. But the fact that you're doing a dodgy heroin deal in the toilet.
Up from him and you're like, that's Billy Bob being a
scumbag.
So Billy Bob does this scumbag thing and he shoots up heroin or coke or benzidine or...
Heroin.
Whatever, I don't know. Whatever he shoots up. And then he does the Creedence Clearwater Revival song straight from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even with that really, really, really awful way to put that piece of music in there, it's probably just don't get me started on
It
that.
did feel shoehorned in.
Oh, dude, it wasn't shoehorned in. It's like someone just gone and you can actually see the snip edges around the music and say, oh, gee, I really want a good piece of drug music in here. What are we going to put in? Oh, hey, dude, I watched this great movie last week called The Big Lebowski, and they had this great movie dream sequences with this band called Creedence Clearwater Revival. You heard of them? Let's go and put that in there. Even with all that stuff, Billy Bob works.
Yeah, he's still worked. And him walking into the crime scene, doped off his brain, and
Smoking a cigarette.
yeah, and he's a cop, and the other cops are looking at him like, "You're so fucked up, cunt," and he's still just like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" Like just cruising through it like he's the coolest guy in the world, but clearly just fucking everyone hates him. Everyone thinks he's shit. He rocks up. The other cop's like, "Why are you even here?" Like,
So what do we got here?
yeah, everyone hates
That
him.
was the best line. That was my line of the movie.
I really like. I love Billy Bob in everything. I think he does a great job. He's great in a movie that not a lot of people have seen, Pushing Tin with John
I've
Cusack.
seen that. I actually really like that.
Yeah, about the flight control guys.
Yeah, and John Cusack's normally the guy who steals the scenes.
Yeah.
But, they're going head for head, you
Billy
know.
Bob just eats it around him, like.
Yeah, he does,
And I'm a huge
unfortunately.
Cusack fan,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, I'll
and
pay that.
that was the movie that I saw, and I'm like, this guy's awesome.
What movies is Billy Bob in?
Rick, you can slap him later.
I think Monsters Ball, like Oscar-winning movies, like, dude, this is a bad. We'll go
Santa.
even comedy. Bad Santa. He's Bad Santa.
Yeah, I like Bad Santa. That's a really good movie.
He's been in a lot of stuff, dude.
You can
He's
slap him after the show, right?
He's one of the greatest actors alive. Like,
He
I
is
think
pretty
I've
good.
only seen him in this and Bad Santa.
all right, just to
He
give
pops up a lot. You've probably seen him more than you
Yeah,
realise.
probably. Yeah.
just to give you an idea of how good an actor this dude is. He fooled Angelina Jolie and young hot Angelina before work and all fucked up Brad Pitt Angelina Jolie into going out with him for a couple of years and swapping vials of their blood that they hung around their necks because he's just a twisted weirdo. And she got so fucked up by him. All the tats and shit came during that period. Like, he's that good an actor. He fooled her into thinking he wasn't a scumbag.
Wouldn't surprise me. I hadn't heard that before.
So I'm, really big fan of Billy Bob. I'm glad to hear kind of everyone did. Carla, how do you say her surname again?
Guiliano?
Guiliano, who
Yes. Yeah.
who played the female cop who pops up. She's like the queen of the independent movies. She pops up in
Yeah, she pops up in a lot of independent movies. She was actually a big star in Spy Kids.
Yes, she was. She was the mother in Spy Kids,
she
wasn't
was
she?
the mother
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Spy Kids, and
She-
she kind of played a similar character, but she was just more the mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. George is so young and innocent. He knows her from Spy Kids. I know her from when she plays a washed up porn star in an indie movie.
Which one?
I can't remember what it's called.
Well, don't make
don't
references.
tell me
Yeah,
that.
what are you
Yeah.
doing? Look it up.
Wasn't Boogie Nights, was it?
No, it's a
No.
real indie. Oh,
No.
Is there nudity involved?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a porn movie, dude.
I'm very interested now.
So she pops up in a lot of stuff. I thought she was pretty good as well. Like, she's not somebody that you're ever going to go, here's an Oscar, but at the same time, she can hold a role and, like, not get in other people's ways, which is actually quite important. Like, you could have very easily screwed up a lot of those scenes with Billy Bob, but she knows how to stay out of the way to let him do his thing. And being the only character in this whole film with half a fucking brain. Like, she figures it out, right? Like, no one else can figure this whole thing out. The Rock is so dumb he drives the same car from crime scene to crime scene.
He has a gun at his killer's head and then leaves him alone, and then at the hospital because
Yeah.
he doesn't even know he's the killer.
He could have picked up a paper bag from McDonald's across the street before he did his first killing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cut 2 holes in it. Bip bip.
Dude, there is like some dumb logic in this, but the fact that he wanted to be known.
Only some dumb logic. Is that? Don't get me started.
The movie's only an hour and a half long.
I think I have a hunch. I don't think Doc liked it that much. like a little bit.
You're very insightful. I
Can
appreciate
I just
that.
ask? I'm just putting my hands up. Teacher, classroom.
Hi.
All the gang that he goes after and kill, and this reminds me a little bit of Kill Bill as well. So obviously Kill Bill has ruined any revenge, come back from the dead, kill you all because I'm justified in my like white knightness. So, but I mean, it's Tarantino, so we'll put that aside because it's at another level, obviously. And of course, it's a female role model because she's awesome, blah, blah, blah. But why do the gang, like, why are they all like, oh, yeah, we deserve this, we're so horrible? I mean, they were scummy people to start with. They were scummy crime. They were informants to the police, and they referenced that they're constantly getting off from just dobbing in their buddies, right? And they're all like, oh, we deserve to die. It's like, really? Wouldn't you be like, fuck you, motherfucker?
So here's somebody who doesn't pay attention to plot points and then comes back to ask, like, why did that happen? Because every character in the film mentioned they were being forced to do it by somebody. And then you find out that Billy Bob's the cop that owns them all. They're his informants at any time. He could bust them for all the shit that they did. They've all got long criminal records. They kind of knock that point on the head so hard. Like,
Why wouldn't you just turn around and say, it's not my fault, man, hey, my hand was forced? They admit that they're scummy people.
They do.
Did, yeah.
Yeah. Most of them say it's not my fault, I was forced to do it. And then
Priest even says it at the end, I'm pretty sure.
the dude in the nightclub says
I'm just impressed that The Rock was about to go and kill Martin Luther King Jr. and he decided not to.
yeah, that's the crisis of conscience moment. So all of these, like...
No, I don't care about the crisis of conscience. I'm just amazed that the guy who was about to shoot looks just like Martin Luther King Jr. No, he does. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm about to sort of see. He was a preacher. Martin Luther King was a preacher. You know, I'm just about to start imagining this black dude start standing up saying, "I have a dream." You know.
He did at the start when he was preaching. I'm joking, he didn't.
Yeah, look, again, so there's a lot of problems with this movie, but I like the way it's shot. Like, I like that like really kinetic style of handheld. It's single camera handheld shooting. It's not that Hollywood style of 15 different angles and, you know, dude throws a punch and the camera flips 14 times. It's like, no, you either got it or you didn't. And we can't afford to do it again.
Look, you gotta love that sort of grainy indie feel. But honestly, I thought this movie was 2006, not 2010. That's pretty bad.
No, it's 2000. Well, even in 2010, this grainy look was kind of very, very popular in the sort of smaller budget film scene.
And any color you want, as long as it's sepia.
Yeah, it's sepia. They put a horrible brown tone over this film. The actual way that they shot the action I liked as well. It wasn't like really stylized, choreographed, big, huge action sequences. And when you have The Rock, you got a dude who was a professional wrestler for 10 years. Like, he can do these big... he can choreograph the fucking scenes for you. Yeah. But what they did with these like little more intimate sort of action sequences, like where he stabs the guy in the club, it's just a single bullet shot to the head for most of them. They're not big, over the top, like 50 people punching on and guys going through walls and out windows and wire work and all the rest of it. And I kind of appreciated that because it gave you a more realistic sort of sense to the violence. It felt a little bit more solid because you could be like, yeah, that's possible. It's not possible that a dude walks into a room and punches out 50 guys and throws guys through windows and shit.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, which looks fantastic.
Great movie.
When he's facing off against Walken, but it's just so there's dudes with AKs and The Rock is by himself and won't use guns and takes out a whole fucking village. Like, it's not happening. Whereas this felt a lot more tighter. It felt a lot more like, I could see that. I could see a dude getting stabbed with an ice pick. I can see a dude, you will die if you get shot in the head once. It's not the villain. It's not Freddy Krueger. He's not coming back. Like, the pedophile, rapist, snuff film dude got shot in the head. He's done. Like, now we're moving on to the next thing. Even Kill Bill that you mentioned earlier has like that hyper-realistic, over-the-top violence.
Tarantino style. It's in its own category of movie.
No, definitely.
But it's also Tarantino doing kung fu as well, for that matter.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know
I just
that
think the second one.
that's the second Kill Bill.
Yeah, I don't count Kill Bill 1. I just think Kill Bill 2.
Kill Bill 1's a great action movie. Kill Bill 2's a great movie.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like,
good call.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that knife scene just kind of like, okay, so the Rock, so they have a knife fight in the toilet. Okay, I get that. That's not bad what they're trying to do. But the Rock immediately from the very beginning, he immediately has the upper hand on that guy,
Yeah.
and he should have been able to kill him in half a second or so.
Yeah, it's the point of view wanted to hurt him. But also the fighting style, sorry, I forgot to write this down, but I remember the point. There's a fighting style called 52 Walls, which is a prison shank fighting style that The Rock learnt
Oh, wow.
for this role. So when he held that knife down and was actually doing the fighting with the ice pick, that's a real fighting style that he was using. So that it's all about elbows and fucking...
There were some nice elbows in that if you go back and watch
Yeah,
the
he
scene.
elbowed the dude 4 times.
Yeah, and I appreciate that as well. I really like the whole sort of knife thing. But if you've got the choice to go and stick a knife in someone or give him a good elbow to the face, and you really want to kill this person quickly, you're going to whip out the knife and go stabby.
Yes, and also he's a terrible revenge killer. After all those longing stares at his dead half brother or whatever, why wouldn't he take the dude's knife and slit his throat with it as like a to make a statement?
That's a great point.
What happens? He doesn't kill him properly and ends up in hospital.
Yeah, because that's what would have happened in an action movie.
No, because that's when his conscience started coming in because the guy was like, I have a son. Yeah, and then he was like, and then he backed off.
And that was just so tacked on and obvious and flat and just sloppy.
Yeah, I admit that was
What
pretty
happened to my
shitty.
dad?
Yeah, when he's caught up, he's like, oh, I'm gonna come get you. Fine, I'll beat the little shit out of you too, little kid.
No, that was like your point of Kill Bill. That was the director had literally seen Kill Bill the night before, and he's like, when she kills her in front of the little girl, and he's like, in a few years you're going to want to come after me. We want that speech in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I was saying that. I was like, that's practically Kill Bill. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was just a direct rip-off. They're like, somebody literally had seen that, I swear, the night before and walked into The Rock and got, hey, have you seen that? Dude, do that line.
Can I just say the assassin's girlfriend is actually not from the League as we thought. That's a doppelganger. She is the daughter from Taken. So clearly she's so fucked up from being kidnapped and having her dad kidnapped 3 times because there's 3 Takens.
No, I think
that
twice.
she ends up with an assassin. Like, good way to pick your men, love.
But hey, she can kick ass now. That's got her something.
And then after this movie, I think Rock goes and becomes a police officer and chases down some hooligans in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I've got a great idea. Let's say you've gotten married to this absolutely stunning spouse of yours, and you're very rich. You got this great bridal outfits, wedding outfits, and you drive these really hot sports cars. The first thing you obviously want to do is to drive into the hills, into this piece of shit gully where you can fire off your crappy little revolvers. You know what I mean?
It actually sounds like a pretty good honeymoon, if you ask me.
Hey, this is why I'm with her.
I don't know. Maybe you'd want to go to like a honeymoon sort of firing range where you get to fire grenade launchers or something.
Yeah.
This is Las Vegas area, right?
I think so. I think it was
Nevada.
somewhere.
Somewhere in
Yeah,
that
it was between
expanse.
LA and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, Fiona. Wouldn't you want to fire maybe a minigun rather than a pistol after your wedding?
You'd have to know what a minigun is first.
As long as there are no animals around.
Firing range, big gun, fires fast, 3,000 rounds a minute.
But humans are fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's kind of like start wrapping this up. All in all, can I recommend this movie as like a good movie? Personally, no. But if you want some light entertainment, like if you're into sort of violent action revenge movies and you just want to turn your brain off, if it's like you've had a 6-pack or, a bit of a puff and you just want to sit back and enjoy, this is one of those movies you can do that with. You don't have to concentrate too much. There's not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
You know what? It might actually work if you're doing this and watching it with friends and everyone's drunk and everyone just wants to talk over the movie and say how ridiculous and stupid it is.
Yeah. Dude, that would work perfectly in that actually as well.
It would.
And yeah, so for me personally, no, I wouldn't recommend it if you're like just looking for a really, really good movie to watch. But if you're looking for something dumb, that you're in that one of those moods where like I can't pay attention to what's going on, don't worry, not much happens. You don't have to pay a lot of attention. What about you, sir?
Well, I mean, I've already said what I'm into. Look, it's too flat as a movie for me to recommend it for anything other than the most basic of brain dead. You know, let's go and do Mystery Science Theater 3000, talk over the movie sort of things. I think you could get like a great track sort of talking over it. You know what I mean? But other than that, I can't recommend it in any way.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you, what you said. You just want to turn your brain off, sit back, and just watch something that you don't really have to pay attention to, then put on faster. If you don't, then fuck off.
Because The Rock is very watchable.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, actually, there's a lot of good-looking people in that movie, so yeah, they have that for that. So.
There is, and that's why Billy Bob stands out so much.
Yeah.
Because he's not good looking.
I agree. I'll watch anything Billy Bob's in. Leave it at that.
Awesome. All right, so at the end of every episode now, we got to pick out a new movie out of the hat. I've put my 10 in. Banks has put his 10 in. The Doc has put his 10 in. The Knockout did nothing, so she's going to draw out of the hat. And we're going to find out what our next movie is. It's a complete mystery.
Me.
Not Banks, not Banks, not Banks, not Banks, not Banks.
If I don't like it, I'm putting it back.
No, you're not.
Okay, it is a Rick one, and that was not collusion.
Collusion! Forever unclean!
So this, let me pull it off the shelf.
So this is a classic, all right? So I put in
Don't tease us.
I've put in a bunch of... We all did this. We put in some movies that we really loved and some classics. The one that she's trying to find off the shelf, which she will eventually because it is on there, is Kings of New York, starring Christopher Walken.
Oh, wow. That's great. I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
It's a really good movie.
You're not being sarcastic.
No. I haven't seen it.
Okay, so...
No, it's supposed to be an absolute...
When did it come out? Sorry.
early 90s gangster movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like an absolute classic.
If she could find it off the shelf, we could see it.
I've seen shorts from that. It looks... yeah. So
Have you
looking
seen
for
it?
I've seen a short or two from it on
okay.
YouTube.
It's absolutely amazing. Like, Walken had been around for a long time. Like, he was a villain in a James Bond movie. He was in a bunch of movies in the 80s. He was in this. He was in that. Kings of New York is the movie where everyone was like, wow, this dude is a great actor. It's not just a parody. It's not just a voice. It's not just a one hit. He is a fantastic actor. And it's a great gangster movie. So I thought something completely different out of what we'd seen. I didn't put any action movies in there, actually. So they're all comedies and sort of indies and thinkers and that type of thing. But this was like if you're going to do a gangster movie, you've got a few choices. You've got The Godfather, you've got Goodfellas, Heat, and Kings of New York definitely has to be in that list.
Ooh, wow, that's Rick, you just went and bloody named my top three gangster movies.
Yeah, well, they are the best three.
They are the best three, that's right.
People would argue Scarface should be in that list, but I'd put it down a little bit further.
Scarface is good for like the first maybe hour and a half, and then it just sort of drags on.
Yeah.
Like if it it shouldn't really drag that long. Like you know what I mean? Like they could have sort of finished it after the hour and a half mark.
You know what? Good point. I think Scarface. There is a space between number 3 and Scarface at number 4. You know, so I'm looking forward to seeing Kings of New York.
All right, awesome. So that's going to be our next movie. If you want to play along, make sure you watch Kings of New York between now and our next episode, and you can play along too. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Have you seen Faster? Do you detest it as much as the Doc? Do you mad as much as me? Let us know. We'd like to know what you think. Until next time, though, I have been your host, The Stooge. I'm joined by...
The Doc?
The one and only G Banks.
And the Knockout Fiona's got her head in our shelf looking for Blu-rays. So she will say goodbye. Until next time, adventure, excitement. Stooge Craves, not these things. Welcome to the Stooge Revolution.